It is now time to perform another scale audit on a set of diagnostics corresponding to one single secure coding rule. Which rule are we going to look at this time? Well, according to my priority table, it looks like we have not examined rule ERR33-C. It's priority 18, and there are 34 diagnostics associated with this rule. So let's filter on this rule. And as you can see, all our diagnostics seem to be from Coverity using the checked return checker. The rule itself is called Detect and Handle Standard Library Errors. And if we examine this rule, it specifically focuses on catching errors generated by C standard library functions. We in fact enumerate all the standard library functions here. Some of them return error indicators. Some of them set the global error no value. And there are some with special cases such as ungetC here. So going back, let's look at a single diagnostic. So in this case, the diagnostic it's complaining about is calling JStreamFlush without checking return value, as is done elsewhere 3 out of 5 times. So Coverity has more information here. Clearly, in the code, JStreamFlush is being called with its return value being discarded. And Coverity's additional information shows that in these 3 locations, the JStreamFlush function is called, but its value is checked, particularly in an if statement. So, going back to our original case, I'm happy to agree with Coverity that this is indeed a problem, in that the code here is definitely inconsistent with the other calls to JStreamFlush. However, this is not a violation of ERR33-C, because that rule specifically focuses on C standard library functions, and JStreamFlush is not a standard library function. It's clearly based on a standard library function, the flush function, but the consequences of ignoring JStreamFlush might not be so dire. So I must mark this as a false positive. It's not a violation of ERR33-C. We do have a CERT recommendation saying don't ignore the return value of functions, but that is a recommendation, not a rule, and therefore not part of the CERT C coding standard that we are using as a basis for auditing this code. Moving on to the second diagnostic, we see this is about the JStreamSeek function. This function is also not a standard C function, and therefore this is a false positive. In fact, if we scan through the remaining diagnostics messages here, they're all about Jasper functions, not C standard library functions. So we can mark all of these as false positives, as while they may be problematic, they do not violate ERR33-C. In fact, let's examine all 34 diagnostics, since we're only looking at 10 right now. If we examine all 34 diagnostics, then the first 10, of course, are false, because we've already marked them as such. And then moving on, we see that they're again about Jasper-specific functions rather than standard library functions. Jasper is apparently ignoring many of its own functions, but again, that is not a violation. And the last one here is JPC getUint8, again a Jasper-specific function. In other words, everything here is a false positive. There are no true violations of ERR33-C in the code. So once we update this and set all the diagnostics to false, we are done with auditing this rule.